Hi, I'm Rhiannon Faith, and I'm here to tell you a story. So, I just had a birthday, which is always exciting. For a long time, I like to pretend like my birthday was really the entire month of October, which is reasonable as far as I'm concerned, since my birthday is at the beginning of October. A lot of times, folks would forget because, new calendar month, you haven't flipped it over yet. You didn't even realize it was upon you. And I come from a family where apparently everyone was breeding during this time frame because I have gobs of cousins, all of us with October birthdays. And so my poor grandma, who always, Grandma Moyers, would make us homemade gifts. She must have just been started in April to make sure she covered all of us for the October birthdays, which are really like all in quick succession, starting at the beginning of the month. Anyways, um, that's not really the point of this. So having my birthday always gives additional time for reflection and, what am I doing with my life and where do I want to be and what do I want to do when I grow up, which eventually will happen. Uh, Although really I've kind of been a grown up since I was quite young. So maybe what do I want to do on my next adventure? But so I was reflecting on working from home because I currently do. And I have been working from home for about, nearly 2 years. It's a little bit closer to 2 years than a year and a half. So during this time, which has been hugely advantageous, creating a lot of flexibility and all of those things that I really have enjoyed, including being able to make meals as it comes up during the day. I don't have to like plan ahead. Well, what am I going to want to eat 5 hours from now? I don't know. I don't know what I want to eat. I want to on the fly walk into the kitchen and grab something that sounds good in the moment, not be thinking about this, 12 to 5 hours before I would enjoy something. I don't know why that's a big deal for me, but for some reason recently this is a huge deal, and I'm embracing and enjoying that. Plus, making really nice dinners because I can in between things just take a quick break, go throw something in together, be ready. I'm not losing all that time commuting. So there are loads of benefits. But there are also some cons. And the cons that have been, I don't know if bothering is the right word, but I've recognized with a certain degree of sadness of late is less human interaction, which obviously, right? Because I'm working from home. I interact with the pets quite a lot, but people, not as much. And I don't have to interact with folks with my job. I'm relatively independent. I can, but I don't have to. And sometimes if I did, it might disrupt or distract from what I'm trying to get done. But I used to love when I worked on campus, having worked in hospital and healthcare institutions for a number of years now, um, more than I'll say. I love being available and watching as I'm coming in from the parking garage or parking, whatever, for somebody who might look lost or distressed or in need of encouragement. I love those moments. I love to take that opportunity to interact with someone, help them find where they're trying to go, be a bright spot in what might otherwise be a really challenging time. Even sometimes just a smile. But I looked for those people as I was coming in, and every day looking for an opportunity just to kind of be a little blessing to someone who might need it. And sometimes it was my own staff or team members that clearly were in a position of need. And I don't get to see those moments because those are things you observe with body language and other communication, not just words. And so, in this digital age of things being via email, I can't tell that you're having a day necessarily. Maybe you get some tone in your email and it's kind of clear that you're breaking down. But I don't get to have those walk by moments where you can just see someone's body language that says, I'm in stress or I'm upset, or their face that is ratting them out on whatever else they were trying to hide. Um, and so that's kind of a bummer. I really miss that. That was, if I could be like a little ambassador walking around campuses just to find people and be gracious to them and create opportunities for them to take a deep breath, that would just delight me at the highest level. I would love that. I would show up early at work and stay late to have those opportunities because how amazing is that? And I could have similarly like locked myself in my office, um, or any number of other things to keep me from actually interacting with anyone, or head down and on my phone or whatever, and I would have missed that. But it was like a real intentional time to connect with other people. So I find that I'm struggling to find those other opportunities in a free way. So obviously, going to work, I'm not paying to be there, they're paying me. How awesome is that? But I didn't have to like go spend money someplace in order to interact with someone. And in the rest of my world now, that is how those transactions take place. So if I go into a grocery store and I'm interacting with somebody, I do try, when it's convenient, to actually go through a checkout line with people, so I can say hello and how are you, and interact with humans in that capacity, or go to a restaurant. But there are so many like conveniences and hurried moments that we have. So, like, for example, if we were looking at, when you go to get gas, okay, so if the thing tells me I have to go inside, I'm not going. I will go to another pump, or I'll walk around or whatever, just because, like, it's always such a debacle when you walk inside and generally they don't know what the problem is and you can't fix it. It's like, I just wanted to get gas and go. But even when I have those moments, and I've had a couple of them at this one particular gas station, I'm trying to go in with an attitude of how can I positively impact this person's day, or interact with them in a way that leaves them better than I found them. Because I really believe there are no neutral interactions in life. Okay. You leave people better than you found them, or slightly worse. And slightly worse is to say that you didn't make it better, right? So, like, if you don't tend to something, it's going to deteriorate. And that's just like basic law of nature. Okay. So you have a plant, isn't it lovely? You don't water it, it dies. Who would have thought? Same with people. If you interact with someone and you don't water them, you don't give them speaking life. There was a guest pastor at church 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about that, how we can speak life or speak death, and the power of the tongue. Both are an option. And I really see this. I can encourage somebody, I can offer a kind gesture, I can say hello, and that feeds me as well. Just to be clear, like, it's not all, as much as I'd love that it would be, it's not all entirely one-sided altruism. It is also feeding my soul. I like, it's like the better to give than receive. I like to be able to give what I hope to receive. And I've been subjected, I'm sure as everyone else, numerous times to unkindness or cruelty. Intentional cruelty really burdens my soul. I hate when that stuff is happening. And I find that it causes a physical reaction for me, just disappointment and sadness when I see that that's present, whether I'm the recipient of it or it's happening around or near me in observation. I can't be quiet about it. I always feel inclined to speak up and say, that wasn't necessary. Well, we don't need to treat each other that way. Or if I'm the recipient of it, which unfortunately has happened more times than I'd like to count, um, really approaching that person with so much more grace and mercy than surely that I'm receiving, but trying to really understand or appreciate what they must be going through if they are going to treat anybody else like that. Aren't we all humans, and don't we all have our own journey that we're going through day by day that nobody else is necessarily aware of? How can we leave people better than I found them? So that's my thought. So I've noticed that, like, I'm kind of I'm in a season of really trying to save. So I'm having fewer opportunities and occasions, which is bumming me out even more, because then I don't get to be a part of, like, lightness and laughter or kindness with folks, because I'm not going out as often. I'm not going to restaurants. I've not been, I took one for the team and stopped getting my nails done. Devastation is real. But my son's club baseball is expensive, so expensive. So it's like, okay, what is frivolous that I can forfeit, in the betterment of my family? This is a really cool opportunity for my son, and I want to be supportive of that. And, I'll live not getting my nails done. Obviously, I could paint them myself, but I don't want to. The reason I like doing those things and those service opportunities, as much as it was lovely to get pampered, is because I got to interact with the nail techs, the folks at the place always know me and like, how are you? It's so good. And I'm a generous tipper. Um, Interestingly enough, I'm a generous tipper, even like probably the most generous I am. This sounds weird, but when someone is ridiculous. I don't mean that they're rude, but when they seem really overwhelmed, and actually even if that comes off in rudeness, if someone was really blatantly ridiculous, I don't know, I haven't had a situation like that, but seemingly distracted or overwhelmed or whatever, I don't think for a second that person showed up to work because and thought to themselves, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be as rude and unpleasant to everyone as possible. I think to myself, what if they have a family member that's in the hospital? What if they just realize if they don't hit a certain target on their tips, they're not going to be able to pay their rent? What if, and my mind goes through 100 different scenarios of the what ifs that person might be experiencing that's leading them to be less effervescent in their communications, and their service to others as a part of their job. So I always assume positive intent. And I know that sounds sort of silly and like big deal, right? But I never feel bad about assuming positive intent about another person or their situation or how they respond. Um, and it's not that it's warranted, right? So it's not that I know you and I have a relationship with you and I recognize that you must be going through something to be acting uncharacteristically. I do this with everybody. Perfect stranger on the street acts like a mad lunatic. What suffering are they experiencing that this is the way that they're behaving? I know that sounds so silly. And I mean, saying it out loud sounds a little silly, but it is a decision that I made a number of years ago to be very intentional about assuming positive intent of others because it's easy. And I think I just went through this course with work that was Crucial Accountability. Great course, super helpful. But a whole lot of it was taking out the element of our negative perception of a situation because that is apparently the human condition that we would just assume negatively of someone else. Interestingly enough, we would want someone else to assume positively for us, right? So I'm a big advocate of like give to someone else what I would expect of them or hope from them. And so I assume positive intent. And that looks different in different situations. So, in a work setting, if someone sends me a terse email, I don't automatically think, what a jerk. What's with that guy or girl? I pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, are you okay? I got your email. It sounds like you're a bit frustrated with me. Did we have a miscommunication? And I'm not thinking at all as I'm calling them still, like, what a jerk. I'm thinking there must be something going on with them because there's no reason that they would respond in that way. I did not elicit that sort of response from them. So they've got something else going on. I'm sorry, I'm so itchy. I don't know what the deal is. It's because I'm on camera. Like immediately everything itches. So the way that goes. And then at home, my son doesn't clean up his room in the time frame that I'm expecting. I'm not thinking, what a lazy bum. Why won't he clean his room? I'm thinking maybe he's kind of overwhelmed with the task in front of him. Maybe he's more tired from the day than he had let on. Let me step into that space and just hear and see what I can. Maybe he just needs a distraction or he needs the tools to be better resourced to manage what's in front of him. And I know that sounds silly, like, fine, whatever, clean your room. And certainly I've been that mom who was like, save your excuses, get it done. But again, this is an intentional effort that I made to sort of turn things around for myself and my environment. And I guess it's a little bit like looking at the world through rose colored glasses. It's not like I am not aware, or that it's not as though I'm unaware that there are ridiculous things going on or that people are in fact engaging in shenanigans every which direction. But I don't have to put my time, attention, or focus on those things. They exist. I'm not oblivious, very informed and aware, but I don't want to spend what precious little time that I have, our only finite resource, focused on that versus the alternative, which is seeing the best in people, because I really think you will see and find what you look for. So If I'm looking for opportunities to be a blessing to others, I'm going to find them everywhere I go. If I'm looking for a reason to be irritated with life and all the challenges and struggles that life brings, yeah, I'll find those too. If I'm looking to see the best in people, I'll find it. If I just am resolved that people are the worst, then everything I see will go along that mindset. It's like when you buy a new car and you think your car is so unique, which obviously I did not. I have a Camry. It's not unique. There are like 50,000 of them everywhere. But the second you get a new car, you suddenly realize that everyone else has your car and you see your car everywhere. And then when you're in the parking lot, you're like, why are there 12 of them? Which one is mine? So again, where you put your focus and your attention, that will be what you discover, unearth, identify in the world around you. So I'm choosing with intention to find the beautiful moments, the lovely things, the people who are in need of a little bit more love and a little bit more kindness, and offering that to them. And so I'm continuing to look for new strategies that don't involve me spending money, that I want to save the benefit of my family, um, while I continue this curious and interesting adventure of working remotely. So I don't know if you found yourself in that situation or not, but I would encourage you, regardless of where you're at, working from home, working in office or on campus or whatever your situation looks like, or just in your everyday, look for those opportunities. Seek out with intention. How can I make somebody else's environment, life, moment better? Because I really think that you will feel better. Like, it's so funny, but what I need, I go out and do. So if I need encouragement or if I need just a smile, I'm looking for opportunities to give that to someone else, because somehow, even though that's what I needed, it fed my need by giving it away. So again, like that better to give than receive. I need grace, mercy, kindness. So I'm going to give those things, because then my heart is full, and my soul is at rest and at peace in the world around me. So I hope that encourages you. I hope you'll do it. And I hope you'll tell me about it, because I'd love to hear your stories and adventures of the things that you've done to make the world around you better, for yourself and for all of those folks. Anyways, so that's a little bit of my birthday recap and reflection. I hope you enjoyed. Come back again and I'll tell you another story. Thanks.